Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you'd already know that the title of tonight's show is Someone's Luck is Running Out. And although I don't know the exact name, or I don't know how many people are having their luck run out right now, I can tell you something about them. And it is simply that, you know, whose luck is running out? Well, with Pluto in Capricorn opposing Venus in Cancer today, there is the possibility that whoever it is fairly high up. They could be at the head of a large corporation or of a government agency, or they could be the head of a big family, or they could be, if they're not at the head of something, they may have been in the past. They could have been prominent even in the military, or it can be that they are in a position of authority somewhere. And so it isn't everyday people that are going to have to worry about their luck running out, but somebody near the top should be worrying about that right now, because at the same time that Pluto in Capricorn is sextiling Mars in Aquarius. But today Mars is unfortunately precisely conjunct the unlucky south node of the moon. Both of them are at 7 degrees of Aquarius. And that simply means that another trait that someone could have whose luck is running out is that not only can they be near the top or have been there before, but they could also be ruthless and greedy. And so that is the type of person whose luck is running out right now. How could that be happening, or why is that happening? Well, Saturn is also in Capricorn, and it too is opposing that Venus in Cancer. When Saturn and Venus oppose or square each other, it is an indication of betrayal. So a betrayal has occurred about someone, and that has turned the tide against them. And so that is a reason why their luck can be running out. How could this be really happening? Well, the sun today is in Gemini at 17 degrees. It is exactly conjunct the ruler of the sign, Mercury, at 18 degrees. Gemini is a double-bodied sign. It's the sign of the twins and rules 2 of everything, but it also is the planet of communication. And those 2 planets in Gemini are trining that Mars, which is conjuncting the unlucky south node of the moon. And so there is an indication that someone has been two-faced, and they have wanted to have it both ways, which we all know you can't really do, but they have wanted to do that. They've sort of gambled that they could get away with that. And so while they have tried very hard to be upright in public, behind the scenes, they have been pursuing a very cruel obsession that has led to a lot of trouble. And the reason, or how the betrayal has come about, since Gemini rules communication, is that someone has talked. Someone has sort of spilled the beans on a double life that someone has been leading, and that has led to lifting the curtain of deceit and exposing the truth about someone. And that is why their luck is running out. And so this could be somebody who is half a world away. It also could be somebody that is associated with a group of people, but they would be people that are fairly high up, who have some position of authority or who have had that in the past. And yet today, there is a marvelous grand trine, a powerful one, in the healing water signs. And that is because Venus in Cancer is trining Jupiter in Scorpio, which rules justice, and those 2 planets are trining the moon and Neptune today in Pisces. And remember, Pisces rules omissions and deceptions and things that are hidden behind the scenes. And so this is a time when a mystery, which Pisces also rules, is being solved. It either has already been solved or it's in the process of that. And that is why, with so much light in Pisces shining on the dark shadows of things that are hidden behind the scenes, we are going to be able to uncover how evil has thrived. Maybe that's something that has been rather mysterious and we haven't known about that before, but we are going to find out. And the reason why is not only because there's so much light in Pisces, which is well backed up by the grand trine in water signs, but also there are 3 retrograde planets right now. Jupiter in Scorpio, which is sextiling Pluto and Saturn in Capricorn. But by the end of this month, there are going to be 5 retrograde planets. When planets go retrograde, they go backward in their orbit, and that means they're going over ground they've already covered before. So more and more information is going to be pouring out by the end of this month. And that simply means that somebody's life is going to be in tatters. It will just fall to their feet in tatters because it's a double life. In other words, they've been one way in front of us and another way behind our backs. And so when we find out what the real truth is, it may even lead all of us to being somewhat ashamed or even feeling dirty of being associated with these people or that person in any way, because there's no way to hide a rotten fish. And in fact, that stench of something that is rotten can be so overwhelming that the only way to get rid of it and cleanse it out of our lives is to simply cut all the rot out. And any doctor will tell you that there can't be any total healing until all the rot is gone. And that is why some people's luck is running out, and we may be really glad that that's happening. It's just that I don't have a name, I don't know a group, I don't even know the location, but I'm real sure their luck is running out, and we should learn the truth about that as the month progresses. All right, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, for you, since there are no planets in any of the fire signs right now, but there isn't any backup to your sign, but your sign is a cardinal sign. And in fact, the challenges that you could be facing and why you might be thinking your luck is running out a little bit is because Venus in Cancer is squaring your sun, which means there can be a family or a home issue or a real estate issue that can be a little bit challenging to you. And it doesn't mean that there's necessarily anything going wrong in your life, but you could be affected by what other people are doing, and you would have to somehow solve problems perhaps due to their actions. And then Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn are squaring your sun, which they will continue to do until the year 2020. And so there can be people in high places who have a lot of experience that can be insisting that you follow along and that you do things their way. And you really will have to conform to that, Aries, because if you don't, your luck could run out. And so that is the larger challenge in your life. So I hope you decide to sort of go along with somebody right now, even if it cramps your style. It's the best way for you to go. And that is how you can sort of survive a very demanding situation. It could involve your career, it could involve a change in management or a change in finances or budgets. And that's why it's best that you really conform and go along with what people are asking of you right now. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, this is a time when I think that you can be extraordinarily lucky anytime in the next 7 years. Why is that? Because this is an unusual time in our lives. Uranus, that planet of sudden surprising change, has just come into your sign, and it is now trining Pluto and Saturn in Capricorn. And that means that there can be unusual changes in finances, but for you, Taurus, it might be surprising to you that you could get, if you're selling something, that you could get more money for it, or if your investments have been sort of going along, you might surprise that they suddenly jump up in value. And so that could be good for you. As long as you are concentrating on long-term goals, you could profit, maybe even a little more than you're expecting to, and that could be very good. But at the same time, your finances could fluctuate wildly, and that's how your luck could change, because that Mars in Aquarius, which is conjuncting that unlucky south node of the moon, is squaring that Uranus in your sign. That means you've got to watch out for ruthless, greedy people, and you mustn't gamble no matter what, Taurus. In fact, no one should take a gamble right now. They would lose. And then Jupiter in Scorpio is opposing your sun sign, which means no matter how much money's coming in, there really is going to have to be some money going out right now as well, Taurus. So you just have to be, I think, very careful of who you associate with right now. Try not to believe everything you hear, and keep those long-term goals in mind. Those are the ones that'll really pay off for you in the end. So don't try any get-rich-quick scheme. It won't work. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, lucky you. Today, the sun in your sign at 17 degrees is conjuncting Mercury, your own ruler, at 18 degrees. And they are both trining Mars in Aquarius, which is conjuncting that unlucky south node of the moon. So there can be people with agendas of their own that want to have their future plans improve right now. In fact, they can be pushing hard for what they want and maybe not have your best interests in mind, because it can be that they have financial problems behind the scenes, and if they could talk you into doing something that benefits them, well, that would be all to their good. But it might make you run out of luck, Gemini. This is a time instead, since that Mars is conjuncting that unlucky south node of the moon, that even though it's trining your sun, you need to slow down. You need to examine who is talking to you and find out a little bit more about what's going on in the background of their life before you agree to anything, because they would have ulterior motives based on being ruthless or greed. And so that would make them rather dangerous to you, Gemini. That's why you need to slow down on everything right now. And the other reason is you really don't know who to trust, because today the moon and Neptune in Pisces are squaring the sun and Mercury in your sign. So actually, it would be a little better for you, Gemini, if you were undecided about something or even confused, because if that'll make you slow down, that would be the safest way to go now. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, this is a time when you benefit from that wonderful grand trine in water signs. So Cancer, it is you that is going to have the answers. You're going to understand how a mystery is being solved. And it can be that in the past you've had sort of hunches, or you have noticed odd things going on around you, and now you're going to find out why. Because Venus in your sign is beautifully trining Jupiter in Scorpio, and it's trining your own ruler, the moon, today, and Neptune in Pisces. And since Pisces rules mysteries, it's you, Cancer, that is really going to see a mystery solved right now and really get the answers to things that may have been cleverly hidden from you, particularly by people who are a little bit two-faced, who have tried to be very proper in public, but who have actually been doing odd things behind the scenes, and now you're going to find out what they are. So you will benefit from that. At the same time, there can be a betrayal related to people in management or people in government agencies or large corporations, or a change of policies that could affect you. But actually, the planets are so good in water signs that this is a time when you too could heal, as long as the rot is cut out of something, and it will be cut out as soon as all the truth comes out. And that's why someone else, not you, Cancer, is having their luck run out right now, but I think it's going to be good for all of us if that happens. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, there aren't any planets in the water signs right now, and so you don't really have any backup. And the problem is yours is a fixed sign, and there are planets in all of the other 3 fixed signs, and they are harshly aspecting your sun sign. So today, Uranus, that planet of volatility and sudden surprising change in Taurus, which is a fixed financial sign, is squaring your sun. Jupiter in Scorpio is squaring your sun. And Mars in Aquarius, conjuncting that unlucky south node of the moon, is opposing your sun. your future is looking a little differently than the way you have envisioned it. And that could be due to financial problems. And one of the financial problems could be that you could be surprised by the higher cost of things. In other words, maybe you had your budget all planned, but as you go to start spending some money, you could find that the prices have gone up, and that means your budget could be shrinking and you may not be able to afford everything you had planned on. The other real danger, and why your luck could be running out, Leo, is if you've taken a gamble on anything, because you would surely lose. And it could be that you have been spending a little bit too much money lately, thinking that you'd have a way to cover that, and that is how your luck could run out, because there may not be a way to cover that sufficiently. So this is a time when it would be good for you to stay away from ruthless, greedy people and to not take a gamble no matter what, because you are vulnerable to having your luck run out right now, Leo, particularly since there's no planets and fire signs to fortify your sign. So be very careful. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, you can be benefiting, particularly between now and 2020, from the fact that there are 3 planets in earth signs that are going to stay there during that time, and they'll all be trining your sun sign, because Uranus in Taurus is trining your sun sign, which means that you could get an offer for to sell an investment, and that offer could be surprisingly high, much higher than you think it's worth, and you should take it if that happens, Virgo. If somebody offers you some real good money, you need to say yes real quick, because it's up to them. It's their money. If that's what they want to do, then you should go along with that. At the same time, Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn are trining your sun as well until 2020, and that means your long-range goals could be working out really, really well. And if somebody that's high up in management in a large corporation or government agency has their luck run out because they've been a little two-faced, I think that you would have already known who they are, and you would be very glad that their luck is running out, because they need to be, they're like rotten fish. They need to be cut out of an organization before they make other people worse. And so I think you would really agree with that. At the same time, you may not know who to trust, because today the moon and Neptune in Pisces are opposing your sun sign, and the sun and Mercury, your own ruler in Gemini, are squaring your sun sign. So this is not a good time for you to be making a decision, particularly about anybody in a relationship, because they could really have been pulling the wool over your eyes, Virgo. And so this isn't a time when you can really trust anyone, but particularly someone who's been making things sound a little too good. That means they've been lying. So try to hold back on making any decisions in a relationship, because I think that you have been fooled by a master, and you need to get away from them, actually. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, this is a time when I think that you need to slow down, just like Gemini has to slow down. And the reason why is that although the sun and Mercury in Gemini are trining your sun, which means the communication can be flowing very easily right now, the Mars in Aquarius, which is also trining your sun, is conjuncting that unlucky south node of the moon, and that simply means that someone can be quite aggressive in pushing their own agenda onto you, Libra, and wanting you to do something for their benefit. Doesn't have anything to do with you, anything that would benefit you, Libra. So you need to slow down. And that is because there really is a mystery that is being solved right now. There really is a lot of information that has been hidden in the dark shadows behind the scenes that will be coming out, because there's so much light right now in Pisces. And so you just need to not succumb to anybody's demands right now, because they could be ruthless and greedy and wanting to push you to your limits. And it could involve a home matter or a family member. And that's because Venus in Cancer is squaring your sun. Or it could involve somebody in a high up in a corporation or government agency that can be really challenging you right now. So if you can go on vacation or just slow down, that would be best, because their luck is running out, Libra, not yours. And particularly don't associate with people that are really trying to be aggressive right now. They would be terrible for you, so step back. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, this is a time with that grand trine of 4 planets in water signs that you can really benefit from having the truth exposed, from seeing that a mystery is solved. And that is because Venus in Cancer is trining your sun, and today the Moon and Neptune in Pisces are trining your sun where you have Jupiter. Your sign actually is not only a fixed financial sign, but it rules justice and survival. And so with 5 retrograde planets, including Jupiter in your sign, by the end of the month, there's going to be a lot of information coming out. And it simply means that I don't think it's just someone who's running out of luck. I think a lot of people are running out of luck, but they're sort of high up. If you have been high up and operating behind the scenes, whatever you've been doing, that information is going to come out. And remember, justice will be done, because it has to be. We have to cut out the rot of things that have been going on in an evil manner behind the scenes. Otherwise, none of us is safe, including our loved ones and our family and our country. And so if you've been on the side of the angels, you're going to benefit by seeing that justice is done. But if you haven't been on the side of the angels, then you will have to pay for whatever you've done. You will reap as you have sown. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Well, Sagittarius, remember there aren't any planets in the fire signs. And so you don't really have any backup right now, Sagittarius. And so it's you, Sagittarius, whose luck may be running out now. And the reason why is that you may have associated with people that were untrustworthy, or you may have known people behind the scenes that were leading a double life, or being upright in public while continuing to do something that was involving some sort of cruel obsession behind the scenes. And someone has talked now, Sagittarius. Someone has sort of spilled the beans. There is a betrayal going on. And the problem is, with the Moon and Neptune squaring your sun, and the Sun and Mercury in Gemini opposing your sun sign, you are the one that could be affected by these phony people, or by people who have wanted to have it both ways. And so if you have sort of been running with the wrong crowd, Sagittarius, it is you that could be running out of luck right now. So you need to be really careful, because you don't have any backup anymore, and someone has already talked. That's why the betrayal is out, and that is why a lot of people's luck is running out, but they're high up people. And so if you're not high up, I don't think you have that much to worry about. But if you are, you will have to pay the price of what you've been doing behind the scenes. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, this is a time when I think there is some sort of betrayal going on that you would know about. It may not be a betrayal of you, Capricorn. After all, your sign is fortified. Uranus in Taurus is trining both Saturn and Pluto in your sign. But Venus in Cancer is opposing your sign. And that means there is going to be some sort of change. And it may involve a move, or a family member who's making a change due to a betrayal. It may not be your betrayal, but it could involve somebody else. Or it can be that you do a betrayal by changing your mind about something that involves a family member, or a move of some sort, or a real estate matter. And so that may not be a bad thing. Maybe you're just deciding on something else, or maybe you're deciding on longer term goals, which you tend to benefit by. So that could be to the good. If you are involved in a position, in a high position in a large corporation or government agency, or you know someone else who is, that person could be involved in having their luck run out right now. So you might want to be pretty careful who you associate with, Capricorn, because not everyone has been on the up and up. And so, you know, it could be that someone very prestigious has actually been two-faced and living a double life. And so it would be to your benefit to be very cautious right now in your associations. Don't believe everything you hear. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, this is a time when I think that you too could be having your luck run out. And it may be because of a financial matter. And that is because Mars in your sign is exactly conjunct that unlucky south node of the moon. And even though the Sun and Mercury are trining your Sun from Gemini, meaning that communication can flow, the problem is communication may have been flowing among people who are ruthless or greedy. And if you have been gambling on anything and you have been ruthless or greedy, or you have been succumbing to any kind of a temptation, then you will really have to pay for it because your luck would be running out. And the reason why it could relate to finances is because Uranus and Taurus is squaring your Sun, and so is Jupiter in Scorpio. So there is a financial matter that you're going to have a problem with now, Aquarius, and that is why your luck could be running out. So just try to take it one day at a time if you can. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, there is a lot of light on you right now because the moon and Neptune in your sign are giving that light out to everyone, and they are also being trined beautifully by Venus in Cancer and by Jupiter in Scorpio. So you could certainly be instrumental in helping to solve a mystery, and that is because there can be so much light behind the scenes right now that we can see things that have been going wrong. We can see people who have been wanting it both ways. We can see people who have been obsessed by doing something cruel that they shouldn't have been doing behind the scenes, because the truth will come out now. So I hope that you're on the side of the angels and you are helping reveal that truth. But if you've been hiding anything behind the scenes, Pisces, it will certainly come out right now. So I hope that you're concentrating on home and family and doing your best for your loved ones, because that way you'll be fine. But if you have been tempted to cross a line and sort of go down the wrong path, you too will have to pay for it. All right, thanks for tuning in. Remember, you can see our show, read our blog, and hear our podcast on our website, starborninstitute.org.